Good evening. I'm Doris Smith, president of the Pittsburgh Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and welcome to this evening's program, an entrepreneurial mindset series. This empowering series for entrepreneurs, either new or budding entrepreneurs, to unlock your potential, grow, learn, and gain the essential skills for entrepreneurship. This evening, please take the time to sit back and enjoy, take notes, ask questions with our powerful speakers. I'd like to turn it over to our Chair of Economic Development, April Russell, to take us further in the introductions for our program this evening. Again, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Economic Development Committee of the Pittsburgh Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the third session of Entrepreneurial Mindset Series, Funding, Grant Writing, and Business Growth. My name is April Russell, Chair of the Economic Development Committee, and I'm joined by our co-chair, Marion Woods, as well as the leadership and support of Deborah Gloucester, Subcommittee Chair, and Bridget Bethia, co-chair. Tonight's session is all about unlocking opportunities for financial growth. Whether you're seeking funding, exploring grants, or looking to position your business for sustainable success, tonight's discussion will provide tools and strategies to help you move forward with confidence. We're excited to bring you this impactful conversation. So let's dive right in. I'll now turn it over to Bridget Bethia, our co-chair, who will introduce our guest speaker, Ahmad Go-Ray.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bridget Bethia, co-chair for the entrepreneurship arm of the Economic Development Committee. As a small woman and veteran-owned business owner here in Pittsburgh, I'm excited because we're going to be discussing one of my favorite topics, which is funding. I'm excited to introduce Ahmad Go-Ray from the U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA, as you'll hear it called this evening. Ahmad joined the U.S. Small Business Administration in June of 2010 and was recently promoted to the national role of Assistant Director of Program Management for the Office of Field Operations. In his role, Ahmad oversees all communications and outreach for SBA's 68 field offices and 10 regional offices across the country. Ahmad leads all White House and special initiatives for the field, including Divine Nine, HBCU, and other very critical work. In previous roles in Dallas-Fort Worth district, he supported $6.7 billion in small business funding, creating over 50,000 jobs in the DFW area through SBA programs. Ahmad also played a key role in managing SBA's $6.2 billion shuttered venue operator grant program. If that wasn't enough in sharing all the beautiful and amazing things about Ahmad, beyond his SBA work, he serves on several boards and advisory councils, including the Texas Southern University Business Advisory Council. He has been honored as Dallas Business Journal's 40 Under 40 recipient and of the Dallas Black Chamber's Emerging Leaders. He holds degrees from Jarvis Christian College and Dallas Baptist University and is pursuing a PhD at the University of Texas at Arlington. Ahmad is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. What a pleasure it is to have you this evening, Ahmad, and to the other members of your team. We are so excited about the knowledge you are going to transfer this evening. So with that, over to you.
Well, thank you, Bridget, and thank you to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta for having this great partnership with the SBA and also with the Divine Nine. Before I jump into my presentation, we have a special guest who was instrumental in making sure that this partnership with the Divine Nine happened, and most importantly, making sure that we renewed this partnership for another year. He's appointed by President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to serve in the role of Deputy Chief of Staff for the U.S. Small Business Administration, where he oversees all public and external engagement for the agency, which includes working with governors, mayors, local elected officials to make sure that we're engaging with our local officials throughout the country in our 68 field offices and 10 regional offices that we have throughout the country. He's from South Carolina, and I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Kendall Corley of the SBA.
Thank you. Good afternoon and good evening. Again, my name is Kendall Corley, serving as Deputy Chief of Staff. here at the United States Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to learn more and share ideas and resources as it relates to small business and small business ownership and entrepreneurship. Over the past 3.5, 4 years, we've seen a economic boom in terms of small business. Black and brown women starting businesses at the highest rate, more than any other group in the country. So we want to make sure that the tools, the resources, the products and services of SBA are spread it far and wide, that you utilize our field offices around the country, that if you're in business, we have programs for you. If you're thinking about starting a business, we have something for you. There's something for everyone as it relates to technical assistance, loans, whatever the case may be throughout our partnership network, throughout our resource network. The the partnership with the National Pan-Atlantic Council came about as a directive actually from the president, who wanted to make sure that we were in places and spaces that we've never been before. Our partnership is historic because currently we're the only cabinet agency that has the partnership with the National Pan-Atlantic Council. And it is strictly about entrepreneurship as it relates to technical assistance, disaster planning and resilience, government contracting, um, and I'm missing one, technical assistance. And so we want to make sure that everyone has access to this. We are taking the steps to make sure that this goes beyond the 4 years that we are currently serving in. So please continue to engage with the district office in Pittsburgh or any other district offices around the country. Please stay in touch with Ahmad as well, because we want to see this partnership continue to go and grow. Thank you all for having this. Thank you all for your time, and looking forward to the discussion and learning more. Thank you, Ahmad.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Chief of Staff. And Bridget, I am ready for the presentation whenever you are.
All right, I know Mia is working on getting the slides up right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Mia. All righty. So a little bit about the U.S. Small Business Administration. So Deputy Chief of Staff Corley mentioned that we are cabinet level. So the head of our agency serves on the president's cabinet. So it just goes to show you how important small businesses are to our economy. We were founded in 1953 with the sole purpose of helping people start and grow businesses. And if we go to the next slide. So we also talked about the Equity Action Plan. So SBA is making sure that we are connecting with communities that we typically haven't connected with before, or communities that are typically underserved. And the way that we're trying to improve that is based off of what we have completed, which was an Equity Action Plan. So number one, we are looking to improve access to capital. So that's access to capitals to African Americans, Hispanics, Asian Americans, Native Americans, women. We're making sure that we're going to these particular populations where they're typically not getting as high numbers of resources and capital from the federal government. So we're looking to improve that through this Equity Action Plan. 2 and 3, where we're looking to help small businesses get access to government contracting opportunities. I'm going to talk more about this later on, but the U.S. government spends billions of dollars in purchasing goods and services, and we want to make sure that more of our minority businesses are getting pieces of that pie. Number 4, disasters strike at any time all across America, and we realize that those that are mostly impacted by disasters are people that look like you and I. So we are the ones that really get hit the hardest when it's time to recover from disasters, simply because the resources out there are so slim. So we're looking to make sure that we're improving access to our disaster assistance programs to help not only small businesses recover, but homeowners, renters, and nonprofits. And then 5th, we're looking to improve access to our counseling and technical assistance programs, trainings, and services. 8 out of 10 small businesses, Bridget, fail within their first 18 months. A lot of those businesses look like you and I, simply because they don't know what they're jumping into. They don't have that professional guidance or counseling or consulting. So we're looking to improve that through our resource partners and our counseling programs. And I'm going to talk more about that as well. Next slide. So a little bit about our Divine Nine initiative that Mr. Corley talked about. So in 2022, the U.S. Small Business Administration signed a national agreement with the National Panhandling Council and all 9 Greek fraternities and sorority national presidents to make sure that we're engaging within the African American community to help close the wealth gap. What better way to do it with an organization that has 2.5 million members worldwide? So we have engaged with the NPHC ever since 2022. This partnership worked out very well. Our administrator, who's the head of SBA and also the White House, thought it was even more so worthy for us to extend it. So during the Congressional Black Caucus Week, we extended the partnership another year. So we're happy about being able to on paper, formally partner again with all Divine Nine organizations to make sure that we're closing that wealth gap. Next slide. And a little bit about our 4 pillars, going into more detail. So the capital programs, which is our loans, to help you get either financial assistance to either start or grow a business. Counseling programs to help you get that professional technical assistance from a business advisor or a mentor. Contracting programs to help you get access to procurement opportunities with federal agencies. And disaster assistance. Whenever there is a disaster, either man-made or natural, we're coming in behind FEMA to make sure that our small businesses have the resources and tools to recover. Next slide. So starting off with our capital program. So our microloan program, these are our small loans. They range from anything between $100 to $350,000. So we're looking to really enhance this program. A lot of minority businesses really need small startup funds to really get their businesses on their feet and get up and running. And the microloan program is a really key program to help make that happen, because within this program, SBA gives funds to nonprofits all across the country to, in turn, those nonprofits to fund various underserved small businesses within their local communities. So they have missions to work with African American owned businesses, Hispanic owned businesses, women owned businesses, veterans. So they're looking to give these funds that they get directly from SBA to lend to those underserved markets. And we're really pushing the microloan program to make sure that people are aware of this. Next slide. And then our 7A loan program, this is our flagship loan program. This is what SBA has typically been known for in the past. These loans go up to $5 million. So these are the larger loans. We are a guarantor of these loans. We're not a direct lender in this program. So we work with about 2,000 banking institutions across the country, like your Wells Fargo's, your Bank of America's, your Chase's, some credit unions, and we guarantee the loan. So we tell the business, if they go to a bank, ask about the 7A loan program. And banking institutions, because the SBA is guaranteeing it either 85 or 75%, the bank is more willing to lend under the SBA loan program as opposed to their traditional loan programs, because the risk is taken off the bank's back and put onto the government's back. So if that loan goes bad, that bank is guaranteed 85 or 75% of the money back of that loan, depending on the amount of the loan. So they're more willing to lend under the SBA loan program. And that's solely what it's about. We want to come in when banks don't feel comfortable lending to a business for whatever reason, because they believe it or deem it as a high risk. Well, we have our own parameters to take a second look at that and give that business another opportunity to get funding to start and grow a business. Next slide. So you may ask yourself, well, why is the United States government investing my tax dollars to invest into small businesses to start and grow? Why would we want to do that? The ultimate reason behind that is because you, as a small business owner, when you get that SBA loan or you get that government contract, you create what? you create jobs, and jobs stimulate our economy. And that's what we're in the business of, utilizing your tax dollars to make sure that small businesses have the resources, financial resources at that, to start and grow. Because ultimately, when you get that loan, you're going to need the manpower to help you run that business and grow your business. And that's going to create jobs, and that is going to go back and help our economy. So that's why we're utilizing your tax dollars to make sure that this happens. And we could click it. So just to give you a report card of how we've done as it relates to loans nationally, from SBA. So in 2021, we did about 61,000 loans worth about $45 billion. If you click it one time. And in 2022, we did about 35 billion to about 56,000 businesses. And then click it another time. And in 2023, we did 34 billion, worth about 63,000 loans to small businesses. And one more time for 2024. And in 2024, we had a record number of loans to small businesses, which means we were able to assist more small businesses than we have before. So we were able to help 76,000 small businesses get $38 billion in loan. So you may ask yourself, well, what happened between 2021 and 2024? So as you know, in 2020, that's when COVID happened. A lot of people were laid off their jobs, and were not able to go back to their jobs. So that's when they sit home and really start thinking about those entrepreneur endeavors that they've always wanted to do. And we had record number of individuals starting businesses, but the most important part of that, it was a record number year of Black individuals starting businesses. So we were able to get a lot of Black businesses assisted with financial assistance in starting businesses and building that generational wealth. Next slide. And here's the breakdown. I'm sorry, go back one more. The breakdown of that. So of that 38 billion, 1.6 billion went to Black owned businesses. And of that 76,000 businesses that got loans, 5,247 were Black owned. Next slide. And this is that economic impact that I talked about, or why we are investing your tax dollars to help small businesses grow. It's because of this right here, that jobs supported, either jobs created or jobs retained. And if it hadn't been for the SBA and these programs, these are jobs that otherwise would not have been retained or created because of the SBA program. So as you can see, in FY 2021, we did about 633,000 jobs. 2022, 445,000 jobs. 2023, 623,000 jobs. And look at that, in 2024, 695,000 jobs were either created or retained because of the loans that we were able to give small businesses that year. Next slide. And this is what it looks like in your local community. In FY 2023, we did about 681 loans worth about 233 million that created or retained 6,400 jobs. And when you look that year, what did Black businesses get out of that? 31 small businesses were Black, worth about 6.6 million, which helped create about 221 jobs. And then in 2024, we did more to help Black businesses in Pittsburgh. So we went up a notch and we did 36 loans to small businesses versus 31 the previous year. The dollar amount pretty much stayed the same, about 6.6 million, but we also created another about 100 jobs. So about 325 jobs were created in 2024 based off of the loans that we were able to give Black businesses in Pittsburgh. Next slide. So another lending type program, but not really, it's more of a financial program that we have. Consider it like our Shark Tank program that we have here at SBA. It's called our Small Business Investment Companies, or SBICs. So these are venture capitalist firms that we license throughout the country. We get with these firms, we license them, and we give them funds. So every dollar that they raise to invest into small businesses, we give them $2. We have these venture capital firms all throughout the country that are willing and ready to invest into ideals for businesses or invest into actual businesses. There were major corporations at some time in their entrepreneurial endeavor that started out small, went to a bank and tried to get a loan and were denied, and came to the SBA, and we coupled them up with a venture capitalist firm. And now they are the large corporations they are today. And you may recognize them. Companies like Apple, for instance, Intel, Staples, Facebook, all got assistance from our Small Business Investment Company program, SBIC program. Next slide. And then switching over to that other pillar, which is our counseling programs, where I mentioned that 8 out of 10 small businesses fail within their first 18 months simply because they don't get that professional expertise or that guidance or coaching, mentorship, consulting on preparing them on how to be a successful entrepreneur. So we offer free counseling, free consulting services, free mentoring services to help you walk every step of the way of either starting that business, helping you develop a business plan, helping you identify financing, whatever stage and whatever help you need in creating that business. We're able to put you up with a mentor to help guide you throughout that whole process. And then if you're already in business and you're looking for ways to grow your business, you're doing well, but you don't have the expertise to, you know, tell you what's the best location for a new business. What are my competitors doing? What financial institution out there to help me get financing to grow my business. So we have small business investment centers throughout the country. We have SCORE chapters, which are mentors. So both in Pittsburgh, we have both of these resources there for you to get help on either starting or growing a business. What's the best part about this is these are your tax dollars at work. So how much are we going to charge you to utilize these services? Absolutely no cost. So if you go out and hire a consultant, it's going to run you about $600 to $700 an hour for that person to consult you. Again, these are resources that are offered to you at free. You're going to get the same consultant that you would get if you go out and hire one. You're going to get that same expertise, that same time, that same effort if you go out and hire one, and you're going to get it here for free. So utilize your tax dollars to get these services and make sure that you're getting informed decisions on jumping into entrepreneurship so that you can be successful. We don't want you to fail. When you fail, those jobs are lost. When you're successful, more jobs are created. Next slide. And same thing, we have a women's business center for our women entrepreneurs that are looking to either start or grow businesses. So we can connect you with business advisors at our women business center, which is at Clapton University, and they're also in Pittsburgh. Next slide. A part of our equity action plan is we're looking to engage with more HBCUs. So as you saw, the Women's Business Center was at we had a small business development center at the University of Pittsburgh, but we're looking to put more of those centers at historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs. So within the last 4 years, we've increased those presences of having SBA centers at historically black colleges and university, HBCUs. So as you can see, 21 HBCUs host our SBDC network, where those professional consultants are housed. Next slide. And then we're doing the same thing with our women business centers. We're looking to host more women's business centers at HBCUs. Again, more about our equity action plan to make sure we're connecting with underserved communities that are typically not able to get access to our programs due to barriers. So the way that we're looking to close those gaps is going where we know they are. And what better way is to connect with our historically black colleges and universities within the communities that they serve. Next slide. And switching over to that third C, which is contracting. I mentioned earlier that the government spends billions in purchasing goods and services, to be exact, about $600 billion in purchasing goods and services. And the federal government buys just about any and everything that you can think of. So if you are a small business owner and you have a product or a service and you want to sell it to the government, come to us, come to SBA. We could get you certified and get you in the process of getting access to that $600 billion so that you can procure your merchandise or your services to the government and becoming a government contracting. Next slide. Another program that we have nationally, which is a amazing program. If you try to take this program at Harvard's Business School, it's going to run you about $60,000 to take the class. We offer it completely free to 20 executives in every market that we have throughout the country. So those 68 offices I talked about, we offer the Emerging Leaders Program. So you're in this executive training for about 16 weeks, and it's coaching you on how to be a better executive, how to scale your business, how to get access to those government contracts, how to get financing for your products, how to partner with other small businesses, how to partner with other organizations. It's teaching you all those great things of how to be a better business owner. So we will be launching the 2025 class in about February. So if it's something that you're interested in and you meet those three qualifications, definitely let us know. We could get you signed up and get on the waiting list for that program. But again, we select about 20 executives in our markets all across the country, including the Pittsburgh area. Next slide. So I just wanted to highlight some of our HBCU and D9 success stories. So this is a printing company. They utilized one of our programs. They're a member. They're a husband and wife. They were our Louisiana Family-Owned Business of the Year. The husband is a Kappa and the wife is a Delta. So they were able to be successful by utilizing our SBA programs, and as a result of that, they became the entire state of Louisiana, number one family-owned business in that state. So just wanted to highlight a local, not necessarily a national success story that has a background from a HBCU in D9 organizations. Next slide. So my call to action to those on the webinar today is to engage with your local SBA office. So in the Pittsburgh area, it is our Pittsburgh district office. They have a team that's willing and ready to assist you, get you connected with our resource partners out there, get you connected with lenders that are out there, get you connected with government contracting opportunities. They are ready to get you the resources that you need to either start or grow your business. Also meet with those resource partners. They are there. They have mentors, they have business advisors that can work with you throughout your whole entrepreneurship experience and endeavors and make sure that you're successful. And then share this information. You may know of other business owners that may not know about these resources. So definitely share this information with other business owners and other individuals that you know may want to start businesses. And next slide. And just to kind of leave you some bragging rights that SBA has, these are just businesses that started out small and somewhere in their entrepreneur endeavors, they are now the large corporations that they are today. So FedEx, Nike, JetBlue, Outback, Costco, Under Armour, all got some type of SBA assistance along their way. And then last slide is just my information. If you have any questions about SBA or want to get connected with any of our resource partners or the local office there or anywhere across the country, definitely let me know. I can make that introduction. But definitely follow our website, SBA.gov. It's the most visited website in the entire government. So it just goes to show you how powerful of a resource it is. Uh, Follow us on X at SBA.gov. We post various updates to any programs and services that we have, as well as on our LinkedIn. And with that, Bridget, I will turn it back over to you. And if there's any questions, I would be more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much. We're going to have Melissa, who's going to be supporting us. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat, and she'll be helping us to facilitate those questions.
This is Deborah. While we're waiting for those questions in the chat, I do have one question regarding the emerging leader. Can you possibly put that link in our chat, and how, if there are some participants that may want to apply for that? I know they can go to the general SBA government link, but that might be helpful. And the other resource you talked about was a Pittsburgh district. If you can put those two links in the chat for our audience.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And are there any questions? Because I'm not sure if Melissa's on, but I'll help with the chat and questions. Is there any other questions that you have for Ahmad? Please put them in the chat or.
I have a quick question, Ahmad.
Sure.
So my question is, I have a question a little bit about kind of timing, right? So as a small business owner, oftentimes we're learning about a different types of funding products that may be useful for startup if we're trying to expand and grow, or we need a piece of equipment, things of that nature. When we're talking about SBA products, what have you seen around timing? What should we be thinking about as far as timing, or even just getting any tips for getting ready to approach, our small business office to ask about funding?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want you to come at the earliest stage as possible. If you are having those thought processes of starting a business, definitely come to us. We can kind of help you massage that thought process and direct you to what may be better related to as an approach or a plan. So come to us first. It's not really I guess a minimum time or a maximum time, just wherever you are at the time that you are with your business and you're needing assistance or help. Definitely don't go out and try to figure it out on your own. Utilize these resources. Again, these are your tax dollars, so it's not hurting you at all to come and either get connected with a mentor or a business advisor to help guide you through this process. So wherever you are with your business at the time, definitely come to us. If it's at that thought phase, if it's at that startup phase, or if it's at that phase where you want to grow, definitely come to us. Great question.
Thank you.
There is an additional question in the chat, and this is from Quintina Thomas. Are there concerns with future funding for minority-owned business?
We don't anticipate anything. Small businesses have been the backbone of the U.S. economy. So we don't anticipate any disruption in any of SBA's programs just because of that. Small businesses are the economic engines to our local communities and to our community, to our economic stimulation across the country. So uh, we don't see any disruption in that whatsoever.
If I may add more to this, she also said that with the new administration starting in January, eliminating DEI initiatives are on the chopping block. So that's where she's coming from.
Gotcha. So we don't know. We don't know what initiatives or policies are going to be put in place when the new administration comes. As you know, our agency is cabinet level, so we will get a presidential appointee at that time, and we'll learn what their priorities and goals are at that time. I'm a career federal employee, so I'm going to be here regardless of what president's in office. So you could definitely call on to me if you have questions about anything that may be upcoming or that may be going on. I will be able to come back and, if we have information, be able to share it with you.
Thank you. And there's also an additional question. What type of technical assistance does the SBA offer for new business owners?
Yeah, exactly. So out of those resource partners that I talked about, any new small business or a person that's looking to start a business can access those resource partners. So either the SCORE chapters, which are mentors, they help guide you in starting a business. The Small Business Development Center also can get you connected with a business advisor that can kind of walk you through the processes of being a new business owner. Our Women's Business Center out there as well can do the exact same thing. So you have three major SBA resource partners in the Pittsburgh area, and you could reach out to all three. You don't have to pick one or the other. You could reach out to all three and see which ones are able to help you for whatever scenarios that you may have.
Do you have a suggestion for a new business, aspiring business owner in terms of how to be ready financially, the things that you're looking for when we apply for those loans and support?
Yeah. So what we saw during COVID we saw that a lot of black businesses really didn't get access to paycheck protection funds or economic injury disaster loan funds because they didn't have their documentation together. They didn't have their tax returns filed appropriately, even if they had tax returns. Their financials were not up to par. Rather, they were out of their financials or just having financials in general. A lot of businesses were just running their businesses without having those key pieces of information and documentation. So, those are key components when you're looking to get assistance, especially lending loan programs, because again, these are loans. You have to pay them back. And a part of that is we look to make sure that you are capable of paying it back. And the way that we look at that is we look at your financial statements and your projections, what revenue you're bringing in. We look at your tax returns to see, to verify that information. A lot of people like to claim that they're not making any money. Well, if you're claiming that you're not making any money, then are you actually able to pay these loans back? But to help mitigate all that, and a lot of businesses just were not aware during COVID that they had these resources that they're paying their tax dollars for that could have helped them get these documentations together. So that's why we're out pushing these programs on an equity side to make sure that businesses that look like you and I and that are just minority businesses know about these programs and these resources to help them get their documentation together. So when it's time for them to get these assistance programs, they won't get the short end of the stick if they get a piece of the stick at all.
Thank
I
you.
want I wanted to jump in quickly. So I told you this is my favorite topic of all time, right? As a small business owner, and one of the things you mentioned were the local resources here. And so just to share, right? You had mentioned, I think one thing that was really key that I wanted to like just I guess iterate is that you could be a part of all of these resources. So my company, You Lead here, a local business here in Pittsburgh. I'm a member of the PIT, the SB. I always say it wrong. SBDC. I'm a member of SCORE. I'm also a member of the Chatham Women's Entrepreneurship Group as well. And at different stages and times during my entrepreneurial journey, I've utilized them for different things. And also, it's great to join because there's no cost to join any of them. But additionally, being on their mailing lists ends up being a great benefit too. So being on their mailing list, getting the downloads of what courses they have coming up, and you could at any point in time be getting 3 different emails about really important things, AI and talking about AI or funding or QuickBooks or whatever those other topics are on a day-to-day basis. So I just wanted to kind of circle back and just kind of put an extra little exclamation point on what you shared about the fact that these resources are free. They're here, they're waiting for us, they're excited to have us, and their mailing lists are also great to be on. And a quick plug for your Eventbrite. I also follow your Eventbrite, and that's another resource where I get pushed information about what you guys have going on. And it could be things that are very appropriate for small new businesses or things that are for growing businesses as well.
Thank you.
There are 2 other questions. The one is, can you provide guidance on navigating government contracting through SBAs and business development programs?
Yeah, so the 8A program, it's a very powerful certification. That certification is for small businesses that have a product or service that they want to sell to the government. So it's a sole source type program. So if you're in this program, you're in it for 9 years, and you're looking to sell your product or service to the government. And having this certification makes that process easier for you because it limits your competition and who you're competing on the contracts for. So it's a great program to be a part of. If you have this certification, you get sole source contracts, which means you don't have to bid for them. The government can hand you these contracts if you're the only one capable of doing the project. So it's a very powerful program to be a part of. Not only are you getting access to government contracting, but you're assigned an SBA specialist that works with you throughout the whole 9 years that you're in the program and helping you develop your business and getting you prepared to exit the program and not just solely be dependent on government contracts, but also help you get access to private sector contracting opportunities as well, like with the AT&Ts of the world or the Lockheed Martins of the world. So not just helping you get access to government contracts, but also private sector contracts. Great question. Thanks for bringing it up.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Yeah.
And there's another question. What are the top 5 SIC codes that SBA tends to lean towards when giving assistance?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the actual codes are, but some of the top industries that SBA typically gives loans to are the hospitality industry, healthcare industry, obviously, like food services are top industries that get loans. So I'm not sure what the codes are, but yeah, those are the actual industry names that are pretty much the top every year when it comes to lending.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat right now. Is there some additional comments you would like to make to wrap up your presentation?
Definitely connect with the SBA Pittsburgh office. If
Mhm.
you know of anyone that's outside your area, definitely let them know that we do have offices in every state. Some states have multiple offices. Like I come from Texas, we have
Mhm.
6 offices throughout the state of Texas. California has multiple. Pennsylvania has 2. So we have a Philadelphia office and a Pittsburgh office. But definitely connect with our local offices across the country if you need assistance. These are very powerful resources that, again, I can't stress it anymore that you pay your tax dollars for.
Mhm.
So don't go underutilizing these programs and you ultimately don't become successful in your business and you've already paid for these programs to make sure that you are successful. But I'm here to help and get you connected with the appropriate resources. So definitely utilize and call on me as well. I'm going to be here for a while, for
Mhm.
years to come. So definitely feel free to call on me anytime.
Thank you so much. You've given us a wealth of information, and we will definitely make sure we get in contact with the Pittsburgh local office as well as get on to the government agency to get the resources needed. All right.
Thank you, ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. I really appreciate it. It's always great to partner with you all. And definitely, yeah, again, feel free to call on this Kappa anytime you need me.
Sure. Thank you. So I have the honors of introducing the next speaker. Her name is Erica Goldsmith. She's a proud owner of Goldsmith Consulting, officially founded in 2020 as a certified grant professional and seasoned grant reviewer. Erica brings a wealth of expertise to nonprofit striving for grant readiness. With a proven track record of evaluating grant proposals, and including funding requests exceeding $500,000, Erica ensures organizations put their best foot forward. A graduate of Point Park University with a degree on organizational leadership, Erica further honored her skills through the Grant Writing Training Foundation by Bev Brown LLC. She's passionate about empowering nonprofits to ensure the funding they use to make meaningful impacts in the community. She's also a proud mother and a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I present to you Erica Goldsmith. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Deborah, for that introduction. Again, my name is Erica Goldsmith. I am the owner of Erica Goldsmith Consulting, which I did start in 2020. And through the same reasons why the previous speaker said, it was the COVID businesses, Black businesses were coming up and about. So I started this consulting business. How did I get into grant writing? So I used to work for a small nonprofit. It was 4 staff members, and I was in the same room as the director of development. Watching her work and watching her write the grants and getting her expertise on grant writing, it did intrigue me. So I was interested. I went in and I tried to find courses on grant writing just so I can get my skill set up in order to become a grant writer. Through my research, I came across Bev Browning. She is an author of the book Grant Writing for Dummies, and among other books, but that was one of her bigger ones. And she had this training where she taught you how to become a grant writer and the ins and outs of grant writing. And in order to complete that course, and in order for her to give you the certification, and also she will give you the recommendations to give you opportunities to write grants. We had to actually write a federal grant. So my real first grant was a federal grant. So which is very, if anyone knows about grants, they're very tedious, they're very time consuming, but that was one of her requirements. So I did that. I got my certification. She's retiring, so she is handing down all her work to her students. And if you pass the class, if the federal grant is okay, then she will give you work. So that's how I initially got started with grant writing. As I started my grant writing business and I'm getting consult calls, I'm realizing that a lot of people that are looking for grant writers are not ready for a grant, to apply for grants. And grant writers are expensive because the work is so tedious, it's a lot, and we are not cheap. So in order for me to feel good about myself, and I wasn't going to cheat anybody, I turned down a lot because I'm like, you're not ready for a grant writer. You're not ready to apply for grants. So in my mind, I said, what can I do to help these nonprofit organizations get ready to apply for grants? Because it's already competitive. And if you're not ready, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the grant writer's time. So I started a workshop on grant readiness. And what that is, it gets nonprofits ready to apply for grants. So it starts way before you actually apply for a grant. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to apply for that grant. You just can't say, oh, I got this nonprofit, I need funding, I'm going to go get a grant. That's not how that works. And a lot of people didn't understand that. So that's where I started pivoting my business to doing workshops for grant readiness. I'm also in the process of starting a podcast for grants, just because for us to have a dialogue on what the grant world actually is, because there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of misconceptions on what is actually in that grant world. So I am in the process of starting a podcast for that. I did go through SCORE. So SCORE is a great resource if you are a small business and you want to learn more things. I did go through SCORE. I went through BizFit, which is the Riverside Center of Innovation that's here. So all the things, and I agree with Bridget that you can be a part of a lot of different small organizations that's going to help you do your business. And it's a wealth of knowledge, and it's free, and you can't go wrong with that. So I do still write grants on the side a little, but I'm more focusing on getting nonprofits to be grant ready because there is a need. The first question that comes to my mind whenever they call is, what is your success rate as a grant writer? And even though that is a good question, and I'm not downplaying that question, that's not the question that you really want to start off with or ask in order for to be a grant writer. The reason being is because I can say I'm just throwing out a number, I can say my success rate is 50%, but if all I'm writing is Walmart grants, then of course, it's going to be higher. So the question that you really want to know is, what is your diverse writing portfolio? Like, what type of grants have you written? Because there are so many grants. Again, federal grants is up here, so that's a whole nother level than a Walmart grant or a FedEx grant. So I always try to teach that yes, the success rate is good because of course you want someone that knows how to write grants, but you could be the best of a grant writer and still not get that funding. So you really want to know you really want to know what is the diverse writing skills of the grant writer that you're hiring when you're ready to hire grant writers. So that's also what I am trying to incorporate in my workshops, is teaching people how to, you know, if you're ready to go for a grant, how to point out a grant writer, along with, obviously being grant ready. But I started in 2020 during the COVID years, like I said, and I am rebranding. So I'm going to have a new website and all the other information, but I am still, taking calls or anything and doing workshops. And that's all that I have, and I could turn it back over to Deborah.
Thank you so much for telling us how to apply for grants and what you do in terms of business for grants. So from the standpoint, when we listened to Ahmad, he was talking about the funding that's available, but you've drilled it down to the actual grants that we may need, and that's very helpful, the information that you shared. And maybe if you could put your information in the chat as well, that might be helpful. And let me look if there's any questions. Most of the comments at this point in time is thank you, and your podcast. Can you also put that in the chat as well? Okay. Can you put your information in the chat for your grant writing information?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bridget, do you have any additional comments?
No additional comments from me. Thank you. Sorry, my camera's on. Thank you, Erica. I did drop in the comments though, and we've been talking, they were on the slides, but I did drop links for the Western Pennsylvania SBA Eventbrite, the Pittsburgh SBDC, SCORE for Pittsburgh, as well as the Chatham Center for Women's Business Entrepreneurship. So if anybody wants to grab those links, I threw them in the chat as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. I don't see any other questions at this time. And thank you for sharing it from the perspective of your personal perspective for grant writing.
You're welcome.
So before I do the wrap up, I wanted to do the wheel to talk about, to pick the winners of today's.
Hello?
Yes, I wanted to do the wheel. Isn't there a wheel with all the participants?
Okay, I just had Erica.
There we go. So at this time, we are going to spin the wheel and we will have 2 participants from today's webinar that will be selected. And the first one is Layla. The first person is Layla. Layla. So the first person is Layla, and the second person will be Sophia. So put your information in the chat so we can get in touch with you. And you will receive a gift certificate from Amazon. Thank you.
There was a question in the chat. Does Erica work for nonprofit businesses as well? Erica, are you still on? Do you work with nonprofits as well?
Hi, yes, I do.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll go on to our wrap up. So part of the fourth webinar series will be on business networking and strategic partnership. That will be on December 18th. We will have the speaker of Alicia Volsi, founder and CEO of Studio. And we'll also have, we're also going to have a business highlight. His name is, oh my gosh, I don't have his name in front of me, but we'll have I'll also have a business highlight as well. And I want to also add that we will be having an in-person event with Ahmad, with the Small Business Association, and it will happen in March, where you will be prepared to be lender ready. And look for that coming up soon. It'll be in March 2025. And I want to thank both speakers. First, we started out with our Kendall Cooley, who was our U.S. Small Business Administration. And we ended up with Ahmad Gori, how he shared all the resources that are available that we need to take a part in so that we can get those funds that are available for us locally and beyond the Pennsylvania area. And then also we heard from Erica Goldsmith, who talked about grant writing. And lastly, we're getting ready to fill out the survey. So the survey is on the website, so you can let us know how you feel about our webinar today. Thank you for joining us. Use this link in the chat and complete the satisfaction survey that is also in the chat. And the QR code will tell you about all the other events that we have coming up. So we're going to give you a few minutes to go on to the chat the survey to complete for today's webinar. And as I said, for the 2 participants that won, if you please can put your information in chat so we can get in touch with you. Thank you.